Sexualized drag shows involving children is not really a topic that I thought would be a thing. However, when it comes into your own backyard, you can't really avoid it. So I decided to have a friend of mine, Kevin Batts from Red River Television, come on the show and tell me what he thinks. I'm going to be providing pictures and messages from a firsthand account. And if you stick with me to the end, I'll make sure that I give you a solution that could possibly fix this problem in your area. Did you hear about that drag queen Christmas?
Drag queen Christmas? What?
Yeah, they had it's all over. It's nationwide. They went all over places like Tennessee and stuff. But on the 15th, it was here in Tulsa.
Hadn't heard anything about that. I guess the news didn't feel like that was a thing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just a drag show, to me, that's not newsworthy. But it actually advertised as family friendly.
Family friendly.
Yeah,
really?
They had children in there. You know, there was people they had brought their parents that were literally parents, mothers, giving their little kids dollar bills to hand over to give them.
Wow.
Yeah. What's his name? David Harris Jr.
So David Harris.
He took pictures and commentary of what was going on.
Yeah.
And the pictures that I saw were just graphic. If something like that would have happened, let's say at your personal house, and you paid for that kind of entertainment to come to your house.
Like if your kids were having a birthday party and you say, you know what, we're going to have a stripper for these kids.
Exactly.
These kids need to have a stripper. You probably had DPS at your house the next day.
I guarantee you the law would have been called and I would be writing a report and arresting you as parents for sexual exploitation of a minor.
Oh, man. So I guess what I'm seeing here, we'll put it up on the screen too. Here's the flyer, a drag queen Christmas. And the strange thing that I see is like these people always glom on to our Christian traditions, you know, regardless of what you think about Christmas, you know, the birth of Jesus Christ, the birth of Jesus and all these different things and when it happened and all those other things. It just make no mistake about it. Christmas is about, you know, Christianity. It's about God. It's about celebrating the things that we hold near and dear as Christians in this country. And to have people try to commandeer, they're always trying to commandeer. And they're trying to delegitimize on one hand the holiday itself, and then on the other hand, they're trying to commandeer it at the same time. And that's exactly what this is. I mean, they're going across the country doing these things, and they got their little spin on it. And, you know, they call it something that's family friendly, and you see just men dressed as women on the stage with things that look like breasts sticking out for kids to see. They're gyrating. They're in their underwear. They're making sexually explicit moves and a lot of sexually explicit, like different, like look right here. You see where the one reindeer, a male reindeer is mounting another reindeer.
Yeah. These aren't even
for kids.
These aren't even innuendos. These are legitimate, you know, sexual acts in front of kids and involving them. They were literally going out and talking to children. And asking them how they enjoy the show and stuff. I mean, it blows my mind. Don't get me wrong. If you're gay, trans, lesbian, I don't care. That's not my business. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what bothers me. I mean, that's your thing. But when you involve children in sex, you know, there's a line you don't cross. You just don't involve children with sex.
Yeah.
And we're at a time where that seems to be the popular thing. You're not accepting of their lifestyle if you don't let them sexualize your children.
Well, the thing is that what I tell people nowadays, it's like they're tired of hiding it. You know, we don't want to go to an island and have to hide that we're busing kids. We're flying in these elites to do these things with these underage folks. We don't want to have to hide that anymore. We lost that island. You know what? Since we lost the island, we're just going to come out of the closet and just say it. We want your kids. And then they gaslight you and they say, oh, well, this is just something that's family friendly. It's not a big deal. And in fact, we're not even sexualizing anything because drag isn't about being sexualized. And, you know, if that's the case, then why do kids need to be there while people dance and sexually suggestive manners. You know, it's almost like you're desensitizing children to sexual promiscuity with adults or sexual situations with adults. And that, by its very definition, is called grooming.
Yeah, they're starting a war and thinking they have enough to say, and make people feel guilty. That's been played on a lot of people as make you feel guilty for the way you believe. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that they're taking it further, and you're starting a war, and it's going to make people that normally didn't have problems with homosexuals, gays, trans, any of that, didn't have problems with that. You're going to make them start hating you and assuming that all people that are gay. I have friends that are gay. I have friends that are lesbians.
Not even like didn't care. It's more of like, you're doing your thing over there. I'm not worried about you. I'm not affiliated with what you're doing. You're not in my world. You know, you're not trying to push your thing on me. I'm over here minding my business. You got your right to get married. You got all the things that you needed. You know, it's over. It should be over. But like we said before, when all this stuff started happening with, you know, the gay marriage and all this other stuff, we said it was a slippery slope. And, slippery slope. What do you mean? It's like, what are you trying to imply? And it's like, oh, look at us sliding down this slope now. It went from we just want to get married to now we want to gyrate our hips in front of your kids, and you better let us do it, you bigot.
And that's, you know, that's exactly what it's doing. Is that, do I believe that most lesbians and gay people are like that and trans? No, I
Absolutely
don't.
Not.
But that's not what people see. You know, most things, what you see on the social media, you start thinking everybody's like that. You know, like all conservatives are racist, and they're just trying to, you know, have guns so they can kill people. All liberals are just sitting there crying in the streets and doing that. No, that's not the truth. Mm-hmm. And this is making you believe that it's true that all lesbians, homosexuals, and drag queens and gay people are sitting there trying to groom your children, which is not true.
No.
But people aren't going to understand that. They're going to make it, and you're going to make. I had a friend of mine that actually said, man, I never hated gay people or anything until recently. He said, I'm really starting to not like them. I'm starting to think bad things about them. And he was totally not that way at all. Mm-hmm. He's not politically affiliated with anything. He stays out of it. He loves everybody, but he's starting to be changed because they're teaching him to hate.
Well, he's seeing how now you can't even, like, and now it's a weapon. So you can't even say anything about them. You know, you can, as a rapper, you know, a rapper can talk about, and I think Black Americans are starting to see this a lot. It's like black rappers can talk about killing Black people and all these other degenerate things that are bad for the culture, pushing all these horrible stereotypes on the culture. And that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But the second they come out and say anything, they have an opinion about gay culture in America, or, you know, people who run studios and stuff like that, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we have to stop this. We can't have someone be anti-gay. And it's like, so he gets to rap about anti-Black things because, you know, killing another Black person is the most anti-Black thing you could do. But they're perfectly okay with promoting those things. They're perfectly okay with putting Planned Parenthoods in your communities, but they're not okay with you saying anything about the alphabet people. They are completely untouchable. So to the point where they actually get to actively go into your schools, and they get to go into your community, and they get to put on these shows with no pushback or anything. I guarantee you, if you put on a Christmas show with a whole bunch of conservative figures and Christian figures, and they were going to tell stories about the Bible, and it was going to be awesome. If you had something like that come to Tulsa or Dallas or anywhere else on this little thing, people would be protesting in the street. They'd be upset. They'd be sad. They'd say, oh, these right-wing evil people showing up. But when these people come to town, it's crickets. And it's just something to see. Definitely.
It's coming closer than a lot of people think, because even not just that, I have a friend with a Mama Iowa Mama Bears. And she just went to her council meeting because the school had the kids put on a program with drag queens and had the same exact thing happening with their children.
Where was this at?
This was in Iowa.
Iowa, really?
Yeah. and she ended up going to the school board meeting, and she ended up wearing the same thing, same outfit as one of the drag queens was.
Wow.
And
We'll have to put that up. On the screen.
Yeah. Because I have it's public, so I can get it.
Yeah.
But she ended up wearing it, saying, would you allow me to wear this? And she's a female.
Wow.
And it wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've, when you deal with kids, rules change.
Yeah. Rules do change.
Being accepted, because there is an age appropriate things. And that's something that you don't talk about that stuff. And let me say it this way. Your parents should talk to you about that stuff, but there's still ways that you can't do that. That is, I mean, you don't sit there and show your kids sex by talking to, this is how I'm going to talk to you about sex. I'm going to show it to you. There's laws against that. Yeah. That's wrong. Yeah. You know, and that's basically what this is. We're going to introduce you to this culture. Yeah. And it's going to implant in their minds for the rest of their life. They're going to think that's going to be normal.
Well, so the thing is, you don't even like with heterosexual things. Like, say you had a boy and you wanted to, you know what? Let's take the opposite track of this. I got my son, you know, do you have a son, right?
Yeah, stepson, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's say me and you get our sons together and let's teach them about some sex. Let's take them to a strip club. Yeah. Let's let them watch a woman strip down and it's completely heterosexual. We want them to see a woman get down in the buff and just shake around. And do you think that's going to be good for your son?
No.
Do you think it's going to be good for any boy?
Do you think they would allow us to do that?
Oh, absolutely not. And we can just say, oh, you bigot, why won't you let them in? This is not sexual. Yeah. This is a good, fun time. The kids want to see the girls shake it. They want to hand them $1 because that's exactly non-sexual. This is the exact same thing. It's literally the exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about this for hours because honestly, it's one of them topics. Yeah. And it's growing like a wildfire. Yeah. It really is. And somebody's going to have to stop it. You know,
well, it comes down to us. You know, people need to be just spreading the word, and they need to be at these shows, standing out front with signs and stuff like that. Let them know that this is not okay.
If David Harris Jr. wouldn't have gone to this and taken pictures and said anything, we wouldn't have even known about this now. Yeah, I mean, I did. I live in Tulsa. I hear about things that's going on in Tulsa. I never heard about.
But this stuff is happening so much. It's accelerating. Yeah. And that it's happening all the time, all over the state. And it's happening now with so much regularity that we don't even see it. And I'm sure it's happening in little bitty towns.
Yeah. And the only way you stop it is by actually doing something, not just complaining on social media.
Politically pushing back in the real world, politically pushing back and saying this is not okay.
Yeah. Not just making laws, having somebody enforce the laws. Thank you again for coming and being a part of the SOG movement. I'd really like to hear your thoughts. So if you don't mind, leave a comment down below. And also to kind of help our algorithms so they know you care, could you please hit that bell and subscribe button? And I'll talk to you later.